Hi everybody, it's Lori Wetzel here with the next installment of Tech Tip Tuesdays. And this week I'm going to share with you a Web 2.0 resource that is probably not new to a lot of elementary folks because I shared this as a potential computer lab activity with the students. And it is Voki.com. So I'm going to go to www.voki.com. Voki.com is a Web 2.0 tool that is totally free, and it creates avatars. So it can create customized characters that you can have text-to-speech capabilities or add your own voice, and it can be posted to blogs and to websites using embedding code and can be shared through email. In order to actually save an avatar that is created, you do have to create a free account. For those students, 5th grade and under, that do not have email addresses, you can still have the students create the Voki, and if you wish to have access to it, you could have the students actually email it to you. For those students in grades 6 through 12, they can create their own accounts right on the site. Let me add that this is a website that I had recommended that the elementary teachers maybe give a try if they have the opportunity to in the computer lab. And I did receive some feedback from a 2nd grade teacher just a few weeks ago indicating that the kids picked up on it great. It was simple for them to use. So I have no doubt that all of you will find it simple to use as well. So to get started with Voki, I'm not even going to log in. I'm just going to go to Create. And it is simple clicking and selecting and playing around with the options that you have. Over here it tells you what to do. So you start with your character style. So you have a lot of different characters to choose from, and you always get some random character popping up when you first get there. Then you customize your character. You can change their look, you can change their clothing, their accessories, their backgrounds, colors, you name it, you can change most of it. You also have the ability to give it a voice. So you can use a text-to-speech feature. You can actually add your own voice by phoning in. You can add your own voice using a microphone, or you can upload a sound file that you have created at some point. And I did already mention that you can change the background. So I'll just play around with it a little bit to show you how this works. Now, depending on the type of character you choose, not all of these options are going to be available. So I can't give this clown sunglasses for whatever reason, but for another character you probably could. So I'm going to click here because I'm not a fan of clowns, so I'm going to switch to something different. They have all kinds of characters here, and like I said, they are customizable. So if I go to the VIP section, for instance, we've got Abraham Lincoln. So there are obviously some curriculum connections there if you think about it. Britney Spears probably not so much, but the choice is yours. So I will go to, let's choose a category. I'll choose tunes, for instance. And I'm going to choose this character right here. So now I have the option, and you can obviously choose by male or female. Now that I've chosen my head, my character, I can change her hair. So I can go through and pick a hairstyle for her if I wish. I can choose a mouth style, although I don't see much of a difference there. And then over here in the bottom left corner, you have the ability to play around with color and to tweak the features. So if you wanted her to have a larger mouth or a smaller mouth, or her body or head width to be larger or her body width to be larger, or you wanted her to be taller, all of these things can be adjusted. And let's say you wanted to change the hair color to, oh, not that. I'm not making very good choices here. To something like that, it's very easy to make these choices. From here, I'm going to go over to clothing. So I have the option to choose what outfit she's going to wear. So maybe that, for instance. There's also costumes as well as casual. So you have a lot of different choices. Like I said, not all of the features are available with every character. So for whatever reason, you can't give this character a hat. Then you go over to the bling category, and you do have the option to, on this particular avatar, to add glasses. You can add jewelry. So I'll do that real quickly. And that's all there is to it, to customizing your character. I'm going to click Done and show a couple of other features. So I have the choice to change the background. So when I change the background, very simple. Again, it's just choosing one that fits what you're looking for. And finally, you have the ability to change the voice that your character has. Right now, she doesn't have a voice. So you can phone call it in, which I've never tried. You have the text-to-speech option, so you can type in what you want her to say. And you can choose the character. Obviously, I wouldn't want her to have the voice of Paul, so maybe I'd want her to have the voice of Emily. And you can give her accents if you wish. You also have the ability to use some effects here, so you can make her sound like a chipmunk or an echo, and the kids no doubt will have quite a bit of fun with that the first time around. Your other option is to use your microphone to actually record your voice, and that is an attractive offer with the students. We have enough microphones in the buildings to offer that option to our kids. And then finally, this last option is if you have an MP3 file or some sort of audio file that has something in it that you would want, you can upload your audio file. Finally, you have the option to change your players. So you can just choose, that's basically what surrounds here. So if I could just change it to another color, so that's not a super important option. Now, I didn't set my settings correctly in Camtasia to allow you to hear this, so I apologize for that. But I did give it a voice. I did a text-to-speech. So if you could hear what my computer is saying and I had set my settings correctly, you would hear her say, "Hello there," with an English accent. Once you've created your avatar, you have the option to publish it. So once you publish it, they ask you to name it. And this is where you are given the option to actually share your avatar. I'm going to say no thanks to the account, but if you have one, of course, that will not be given, that option will not be given to you. So my scene has been saved. I'm going to exit out there. So now I have the embed code. So if you are working with Weebly or you're working with a blog, you can actually embed it right into your web presence. You also have the option of getting a URL. So you can take this URL, a standard Voki link, and this is how you can point people toward the avatar that you created. You also have the option send to a friend, and here's where you can type it directly in there and send it directly to somebody. I'm going to include this website on the Weebly site for the Tech Tip Tuesdays, and this site over here is another Weebly site that I had created, but what it discusses is how to use Voki in the classroom. It seems like a fun tool and something the kids would have a good time with, but why would you use it? So there are examples of book talks that students created using a Voki. There are examples of how teachers have used it in different educational ways. So again, I will include this link on the Weebly site, and you just scroll down to the bottom. If you want an idea of how you might use Voki in the classroom, that should give you some ideas. So that was Voki.com. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Have a great week.